Hey guys, and welcome back to Aether Hub HQ. I'm Seiben, and today we have with us Paul, fellow hubby from the Planeswalker Project. He's our resident commander expert here at the hub, and me and him will be going over the newest leaks and spoilers for Commander 2017. While Paul goes into the detail on how the new commanders could impact the game, I'll be doing what I do best, adding flavor to these already flavorful legendaries. Commander is a special format which allows players to form flavorful decks based off lore more easily than any other format, and these new legends have a lot of story behind them.
Hey Commander players, so in the last few weeks, leaks of the new Commander 2017 product have been allegedly released. From the looks of the cards that we got, we're going to be getting at least a Dragon Tribal deck, which is pretty cool. In this video, I wanted to take a look at some of the leaked Dragon commanders and see what kind of an impact they might have on the Commander format. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more like it, remember to tap that like button. I want to preface this video by saying that while these cards have not been officially confirmed as real or not real, we're going to be looking at them as if they were real, so keep that in mind when we look at some of these cards. We'll begin with O-Kagachi, the Vengeful Kami. For those of you who weren't around for the Kamigawa storyline, O-Kagachi was the most powerful Kami on Kamigawa. But other than being featured on the card Final Judgment, we've yet to have a physical card of O-Kagachi. Well, that is until now, and I have to say it's a little underwhelming. Yeah, it's a 5-color dragon spirit, so perhaps we can use it for Spirit Tribal as well, but being only a 6/6 for 6 mana, having 2 keyword abilities, and a retaliation themed ability, I feel like this could have used maybe just a little more substance. I do like that its ability does work as a nice deterrent for attacks, and I feel like something like Josh Lee Kwai's 5-color Nekusar might be able to use this as a good alternative to Chromet. The power level of this might be a little underwhelming given that being the most powerful entity, it should be powerful than that of its kin, but in all honesty, I feel like this is going to be the least powerful of the new cards we look at today, but despite its lackluster card, Seiben says that O-Kagachi was pretty relevant to the story, so lay it on us.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with you here, Paul, that O-Kagachi Vengeful Kami may be a little weak, especially compared to his role in the story of MTG. The dragon known as O-Kagachi is actually more of a spirit, or Kami, than a traditional dragon. That's just its manifested physical form. From its title, you could probably guess that this Kami or spirit is from the plane of Kamigawa. Go figure. On Kamigawa, O-Kagachi is actually a really big deal, probably the biggest deal. It's described as the first Kami, as old as the plane itself, the creator of the spirit realm and the heart of the world, the living barrier between the worlds of gods and mortals. It's a pretty stacked resume. Now, the story of the Kamigawa block was focused on an event known as the Comi War. Again, the title lacks imagination. It was a conflict between the mortals and the spirits, with the spirits being led by the great 8-headed serpent O-Kagachi. Before this, spirits and mortals lived harmoniously for centuries. So what changed? Well, one arrogant human ruler thought he could steal power from the great Kami to benefit his own people. Probably a bad idea to steal from something that blocks spiritual monsters from entering the world. The man responsible for starting this war was Takeshi Konda, who invaded the spirit realm and stole the heart of O-Kagachi. It wasn't like his literal heart, which a Kami probably doesn't even have, but a chunk of its power that turned out to be its daughter, a spirit known as Kyodai. Konda trapped the spirit in a stone slab that became known as that which was taken. In response, O-Kagachi lowered the veil between the worlds and the Kami attacked. For 20 years, the bloody conflict raged, until O-Kagachi finally showed himself and devastated 3,000 of Konda's men in a single bite, drastically turning the tide of the war. In a desperate bid to save the fragile mortal plane of Kamigawa, Konda's daughter, Princess Michiko, teamed up with O-Kagachi's quote-unquote daughter in order to stop both of their crazed fathers. Luckily, the part of the dragon Kyodai once was actually its spiritual divinity. Using this boundless magic, the two daughters cut off O-Kagachi's heads one by one, until its body fell from the heavens and shrunk to the size of a garden snake. In one of the most metal moments in MTG, with the great Kami left with only 2 of its 8 heads, the daughters both took a neck and bit into its flesh, killing O-Kagachi. With that act, the daughter of a god and daughter of a king became the new guardians of the veil between the two worlds, working together for the rest of time to secure a harmonious Kamigawa. Well, you may be done looking at cards, but I'm not, mostly because there's so much lore left in these commanders, especially the rather obscure idea of the Dragon. The most dragony of all the dragons, the Dragon isn't actually a creature, even though it totally is. It's more like an idea, an avatar to dragons as a collective race. The idea of the Dragon was personified by the primeval dragons of Dominaria, the 5 self-proclaimed gods of the plane during the early part of its existence. Now forgive me, I don't speak fluent Draconic, so these names are likely gonna get butchered. The primeval dragons included, come on, this isn't even fair, Ramadaragaz, Rith, Treva, Dromar, and Kosis. Wow, after that first one, they weren't so bad. Let's just say there were only 4 from now on. Anyway, these gods got a little carried away, and ancient powerful mages stepped forward to end their reign, imprisoning them and stealing their powers. Of course, we all know that trapping powerful beasts rarely ever works out in the captive's favor. The dragons awaken stronger than ever, and are therefore known as the primeval dragons. Each of these dragons had their own stories, myths, and even artificial golem attendants. Their individual traits were tied to this idea of the Dragon, the spirit of dragonness. Kosis' attendant, aka Iron Man, says that Kosis is the eye of the Dragon, piercing illusion and darkness. Daragaz's, better known as the dragon I cannot pronounce, says he's the breath of the Dragon, burning away the burdens of mortality. Riths describes him as the claw of the Dragon, scattering the seeds of destruction. With Treva being the voice of the Dragon, demanding cries of worship, and Dromar being the wings of the Dragon, sweeping away all opposition. Now, as godly as these primeval dragons were, they weren't indestructible. In fact, Daragaz was once an ally to Urza and all of Dominaria before he gained such power. Their defeat would come by the hands of Karn before he became a powerful planeswalker, who managed to speak to the rational mind of Daragaz and showed the dragon that he was committing a great evil with the whole killing everybody thing. Struck by the weight of his actions, the once noble dragon dove himself into a volcano, killing himself, leaving the other primeval dragons leaderless and weakened, eventually leading to all of their deaths. Yet still, the Dragon remained as an ideal meant to be lived up by all the dragons throughout the multiverse, and is now an avatar playable in-game.
Moving on to the next new legend, the Dragon. Now, originally the Dragon wasn't exactly a creature, say for, the scion of Dragon, and it would represent the ideal dragon. Now, what do we get with the Dragon? Well, for starters, for 9 mana, we get a 10/10 flying dragon with the new keyword ability Eminence, which will make all of your dragon spells cost 1 mana less to cast as long as Dragon is either in the command zone or in play. Whenever 1 or more dragons attack, you can draw that many cards, then drop a permanent onto the battlefield from your hand. Okay, hang on, what? First off, yes. One of my biggest problems with dragon tribal decks is how dumb expensive they are to cast the spells. I don't have all the room in my 99 to put mana dorks to ramp into these things, so they gotta figure out how to cheapen these up on their own. This guy, boom, he makes dragons cost less, an ability that we actually have seen just a little bit in the dragon tribe, and I'd really like to see expanded to help bring dragons into the realm of playability against the low curve decks. Secondly, and I think I might have just choked down my sweet roll looking at that second ability, that is without a doubt one of the dumbest abilities I have ever seen on a dragon. Oh hey, I just attacked with 4 dragons, I get to draw 4 cards now. Oh hey, looky what I drew, another freaking dragon. And since it's being plopped into play like a big old steamy pile of dragon rage, it's immune to counter spells. It doesn't even need to be among the cards you drew, and it doesn't even need to be a dragon. Oh, I'll just drop, an Akroma's Memorial or something to conveniently hit the field just before the dragons hit you. 10 out of 10, don't need to look at any more cards, I'm done.
Now listen, Paul, you're getting a tad too overwhelmed from the hype, and I understand that, but I'm going to need you to soldier on. So to help you refocus, let me tell you the tale of a friendly cat dragon. Yep, you heard right. Cat Dragon, which we finally see a legendary for in Commander 2017. Wazitora is probably, at least to me, the most interesting dragon to come out of Commander 2017. It was hard to choose between a dragon god, robot, and avatar, but for me at least, the cat dragon definitely wins out. Wazi-Tora is a Nekoru, a race of, you guessed it again, cat dragons on the plane of Dominaria. Like all dragons, the Nekoru are highly intelligent creatures with a culture all their own, a culture Wazi-Tora never really got to experience growing up in her youth. As a cub, she was abandoned by her mother in the deep forests of the plane, forced to use her natural abilities to survive. She grew up not even knowing if more like her existed. She grew truly wild and free. Until, lo and behold, she ran into some of her fellow Nekoru who invaded her territory to take part in a mating ritual. Not really understanding the sanctity of this ritual, Wazi-Tora attacked the group and defeated all of its females, declaring herself queen of the race. She took the group's alpha male as her own and went off to start her own new lineage of cat dragons free of the annoying civilization the rest of her race seemed so steep in. These would be wild Nekoru, so she flew off and made her nest near the coastal village of Sakana. The people of this village couldn't stand this cat dragon, who regularly demanded tributes of fish to be made by the humans. So straight out of a storyline for The Witcher, the fishermen call upon the kingdom's imperial champion, Tetsuo Yumezawa, to come and slay the monster. Yes, that same Tetsuo who would go on to defeat the dragon planeswalker Nicole, with some help from Wazi-Tora herself. Let me explain. While being summoned to kill the cat dragon, their fight was cut short by a monstrous elder worm who threatened not only the village, but Wazi-Tora's nest. Together, the dragon and Tetsuo defeated the worm and a bond was formed. Coming to a unique conclusion, Tetsuo made Wazi-Tora an official member of the Imperial Champion, charged with defending the coastal village from all threats, with her services being paid for in fish, of course. Later, when Tetsuo rebelled against the Emperor, aka Nicole, Wazi-Tora would come to her friend's aid again, only this time she had kittens. Her and her litter defended Tetsuo's manor from Bolus's thugs as he looked to defeat the Planeswalker, helping a friend while teaching her precious offspring to hunt and kill at the same time. So adorable.
Wait, what? You say there's more? And a cat? A cat, you say? Well, I guess I can take a look.
Oh my god, it's a cat dragon! Great Oven's Raven, it's a cat dragon! Oh, and the cat token, yeah!
Okay, well, a nice big Fusro Dao to you as well. So as Seiben says I can't leave for the day without going over every new dragon in this set, let's just say I might have to finally build a Jund Dragon deck. Prosh, I'm sorry baby, but you gotta go. This thing is everything I ever wanted in a cat dragon commander, which I didn't even know I realized I wanted until now. The ferocity of dragons, the power behind spawning 3/3 flying cat dragon tokens, and a legitimate cat body to put it all on. I just have one itsy bitsy little problem. Wazi-Tora, being a cat in Jund colors, doesn't quite have the access to the cat tribal support that we already have. Cards like Regal Caracal, perhaps the best lord we have gotten for cats ever, is a white card, and it's a card that we won't have access to. It feels a little off that this cat-themed dragon is in Jund, but I feel like we can still build some sweet stuff with this, and I'd also like to point out this cat has access to parallel lives, which gives us extra cats.
There you go, that's the Planeswalker spirit. Now that we're back on track, let's take a look at the final dragon here in Commander 2017, and bonus, it's a dragon spaceship! Of course, Ramos. The nicest of the dragon engines. A race of artificial dragons found on, wait for it, Phyrexia. Yes, that Phyrexia with all the evil, sharp monsters. While basically nothing is known about their origins, we do know that Mishra, brother to Urza, plane shifted to Phyrexia to steal these dragon engines to use them in his fight against the sibling during the Brothers' War. One of those dragon engines turned out to be Ramos. In the middle of this conflict, Urza reprogrammed Ramos to defend the people of Terracer, a large northern continent of Dominaria. With the end of the Brothers' War coming with a massive, continent-shattering explosion known as the Celix Blast, Ramos gathered as many people and merfolk he could to do as he was programmed. He plane shifted back to his origin point of Phyrexia, realizing that probably wasn't the safest place for his refugees, and took another portal to the plane of Mercadia. While his new intentions were pure, his flight skills were lacking, and he crash landed right into the middle of a city, killing scores of people and separating his body into tiny bits. Luckily, his passengers survived and spread out and built new cities of their own, spreading the mythos of Ramos through the generations. The Power Stones that once, well, powered Ramos, had been taken by the people as religious artifacts, with Ramos himself lifted to the status of godhood in the Plains religion. Flavor win here, as Ramos Dragon engine produces the same mana that his 5 Power Stones could when sacrificed, those being the eye, heart, horn, skull, and tooth of Ramos.
Well, we finally reached the final league for the day, Ramos the Dragon Engine. For 6 mana of any color, we get a legendary artifact creature dragon that is flying. Duh. Whenever we cast a spell, Ramos gets some +1/+1 counter placed on him for each of that spell's colors. Once per turn, we can remove 5 +1 counters from Ramos to add 2 mana of every color to our mana. Wait, what? Excuse me, the door to nothingness is knocking, and this dragon is... You mean to tell me that for 6 mana of any color, literally, I can just tap a Soul Ring, a Thranding Ammo, and a Bloody Waste to get this thing out, and then I can proceed to bump him up until I can Doomsday everyone? That thing is crazy! Why is this a thing? Who made this? I can literally run tutors for days, artifact recursion and control, and then show everyone the door until everyone at the table is dead. Not to mention the potency this thing has with some of the cards like Deep Glow Skate. You remember Atraxa? You ever heard of her? That non-red angel horror thing from last year's precons everyone wet themselves over? Well, here's her oversized dragon-loving cousin Ramos, the Dragon Freaking Engine. He's gonna ramp you to the end of the world. I want one. So thank you guys so much for watching. What do you think of these cards? Do you think that they're real? I'm really hoping that they are real. The cat, I need the cat. I need the cat. Or maybe Ramos. I really can't pick which one's my favorite. You guys are making this really hard for me. Now, if you enjoyed this video, you can click that like button. I won't tell your friends that you like this video, but you can. And if you want to stay up to date with all of the latest happenings over here at the Aether Hub, you can tap that subscribe button, as well as that little bell thingy next to the subscribe button. And if you want to support the mind behind this Aether Hub, Seiben himself has opened his own game store. You can check out his awesome hub bundles by clicking the link down in the description. Now, that's it, I'm done. I gotta go get dragons, so stay cool.
Likewise, guys, as Paul said, thanks so much for watching and supporting the Aether Hub here on YouTube. Remember, don't be afraid to feed your obsession. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next time here at Aether Hub HQ. Hey guys, thanks for watching the Aether Hub here on YouTube. If you enjoyed this video, support the channel and all our creators by liking, sharing, and of course subscribing so you never miss our latest video. You yourself can become an honorary hub member by visiting our store at www.etherhubtcg.com. We have a special pre-order event happening right now where you can snag some of the best deals on packs available. Afterwards, consider visiting our friends over at 5 Color Combo. They have an amazing free app that I use to practice my limited picking skills, along with custom art playmats and tokens. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching, and remember, never be afraid to feed your obsession. I'll see you guys next time.